Hello, everyone, and welcome to Pass and Pivot, the netball podcast that speaks about South African netball and all things netball. I'm your host, Zola Nyembezi, and I'm so excited to be bringing you episode 8. We are 2 episodes away to being in episode 10. That's exciting. I'm so happy that we're back and we're going back into netball and we're going to review the Telkom Netball League. There's so much that happened in the Telkom Netball League Power Week 2. The top 4 have been set for both divisions. Relegation matches are up. It's about to be lit. Can I still say that? People still say that. Anyway, let's just dig right into it. Let's go to our first talking point, which is our netball talking point. So the first thing that we will actually be speaking about is the Aussie Diamonds and the English Roses let out their contracted squad of players. And obviously we already know our squad of contracted players. They came out on the 1st of April. We were all shocked. We were all like taken aback because it was like just before the TNL actually started. But I guess they know what they're doing. We got to trust what the executive is doing, what Coach Jenny is doing, and the selectors, right? But I think it's starting to get real now if your top 3 are releasing their contracted players. It's not the Commonwealth Games squad, but their contracted players. If we are going to beat England, should I say when we beat England? Yeah, I'll be bold enough to say that. We need to know who we're playing against. And their list, if you haven't checked it out, I shared it and I reposted it on the Instagram of Pass and Pivot. Yeah, it's a very interesting list and it's very heavy defensively. I mean, if you look at Jada Pickova, come on, Jada Pickova is having a standout season with Nottingham Forest. And I think it's going to be a different group to the one we had playing against us in January. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. And you know what? Like, it just makes me feel, I don't know how to say, it makes me feel a bit more nervous, but also that means that they're scared of us if they're putting out such a strong squad of contracted players. But I'd love to see the Commonwealth teams, but apparently they're gonna release them end of June. I wonder when we're releasing ours and if we'll have a press conference and all of that. If we carry on and continue, Aussie Diamond selection was very interesting because they had Jessie Granvald, who just shot up out of Norway this season, and she got not even an invitee status, which is the equivalent to ours as a trading partner. She got a full contract with the Aussie Diamonds. And this this girl is only like 20, 21, so she's young. And I love that we're blooding in this talent from the Aussie side, but I would love for it to come also from our side. I actually don't know how old our defensive end is. Like, I don't know how old Nicholas Smith is. I think they're all in their mid-20s, which is still okay, but who's the upcoming talent that we're getting? And for me, at this moment in time, if I'm looking at the TNL for people who would be able to be contracted next year, I guess, because I don't know how it works. But I would, again, call up Amethyst Bandu. I like her. And I think she's doing very well. Liame Delanga needs to be someone we look at. Sure, she's just amazing. There's also a lot of players that I would love for them to break into the contracted squad, not necessarily go to the Commonwealth Games in South Africa, but like go for the Africa Cup of Nations where they'll build up that resilience and that test like mentality and gamesmanship, which is something we kind of have in the TNL because we play every day. Like, that's what the Commonwealth Games is going to be like. So I guess it's something that we have in our pocket that's good because we're used to playing those high intensity games on the daily, but it's a different ball game when you're playing international, I guess. And I would be very scared of the Aussie Diamonds, and not because I'm giving them the respect that they deserve, but because there is a level of intensity that they play at that we have not yet gotten to. And I still believe we can get to it. And I don't think we've ever beaten the Australian Diamonds before. Like, Coach Jenny would be immortalized if we would beat the Australian Diamonds. But I don't think they're not unbeatable. I think they do have their weak links, but it's for us to see if we can unlock those weak links with our defense. Because I really do think that their weak link is in the shooting end. Sophie and Kira, very strong, but yeah. And just imagine if Nicola was down there in the SSN next year. how much more intense it would be for her to get that week in, week out playing against more Sophie Garbin, more Donnell Wallem. It'd be very good for us in South Africa. So I hope Enigma is working on something with that, because I see it. Also, another topic that just popped up randomly on Wednesday. It was just such a random post. Netball South Africa announced a partnership with the leading sports sponsorship agency called Flash Sponsorship, and they are going to be the non-exclusive commercial agency, and they are tasked with securing and growing the federation's sponsorship portfolio. It's been a long time coming, if we're being honest, because we've been building. We've been working hard, and we can't only rely on Telkom as our sponsor, as our huge main sponsor, and Hollywood Bets and Spar and Gilbert and all the other ones, and Renault. There's so many, but we need more. We need more money to generate commercial income for the sport. Because funny enough, I was reading this article from Netball South Africa. They have a news section, and they don't even post it on their socials. So that would be something for them to do, is post these articles on your socials and tell people to go to your website to read them, because they actually are informative. Because from this article, the Netball World Cup in 2023 got 14.9 million viewers on the TV, okay? And this is double the viewers that watched in 2019 when the World Cup was in Liverpool. Do you understand how many eyes were on South Africa? How many eyes were watching netball? And 78%, 14.9 million viewers were from the African region, or the sub-Saharan what do we call ourselves? Yeah, the sub-Saharan region. Guys, people in Africa and South Africa want to watch netball. So we need to give them that opportunity, and we need to give them that time and the airtime for us to watch South African netball and just any other netball. I think that's such an interesting stat to say 14.9 million people sat and watched netball. That's beautiful. Well done, Netball South Africa and the World Cup, even though it had its hiccups. But yeah, I still can't believe we came sixth at our own World Cup. Yeah, anyway. So this deal they have with Flash Sponsorship should ensure or enable us to get even more sponsorship. And Flash Sponsorship have been working with Cricket South Africa, and they've been getting really good sponsors with them. So it made me think, who would it be that we want to partner up with in netball? And I really do think it's any hair and makeup and okay, we don't do sun tanning because we are tan in Africa, because melanin is popping. But your hair products that keep the hair down, you know, your makeup products that people wear, what are the brands that you guys think we could link up with in Telkom Netball? Not even Telkom Netball, in Netball South Africa. I love that we have a sponsorship with Powerade. That just shows that, you know, the national team has got a backing in terms of being powered by Powerade, because Powerade also sponsors, I think it's Cricket South Africa and other major national teams. So I love that we are on par with other federations, but commercially we are lacking. And I think also get us apparel sponsorship, who will sponsor making merchandise, team merchandise for the fans that we can buy. Like, personally, I don't want to go and watch the TNL and wear my Netball South Africa top, which is cute, it's nice, but I'm not watching the Spa Proteas. I'm watching Fireballs, I'm watching Flames, I'm watching Jaguars. Do you get what I'm saying? And that's where the commercialization of the sport will just expand even further, if you allow us to be real supporters and actually buy merchandise. I would love a cap from Jaguars, even though I don't support them, but I think that they have such a cool emblem. You know, guys, we're missing out on so much because we're scared. We need to stop being scared as Netball South Africa or netball. Jamie Lee Price spoke about how brandable netball actually is, and I actually loved what she said. It's so true. You have the #1 sport in Australia and in South Africa for women, and you're not feeding into that. There's young girls who look up to Bo Tale Mate, Bo Sami Ngubane, Bo Tanita van Dijk, not me naming all the fireballs. Kayla Dammers. Do you see? There are young girls looking up to our Spa Proteas, and I think that we need to give them the opportunity to support them in that capacity. I'm just thinking the Netball Super League major final and minor final are happening this weekend, and the socials for that have been popping and they've been really good. And you can just see the theme is, which color are you backing? So Nottingham Forest is red, Loughborough Lightning is purple, Manchester Thunder is yellow, and then you have Pulse pink. So they did a whole post on who are you backing, and they made a color scheme, color board, like a Pinterest color board with those colors, with those teams, and it looks so beautiful and so clean and so nice. And I was just like, something simple like that will get people behind the team that they want to support, you know? And again, our social media is doing their best that they can, but I really think that this partnership is going to help the federation go even further. This is the first step that Adam Brooke has taken as CEO. So hey, I am trusting. It looks good. It looks good. And we're back with Power Week 2 of the Telkom Netball League 2026. Wow, so much netball, 9 days of netball. And teams had to play, I think some teams had to play 8 games of netball. I think I saw once Noreen Koopman's post from the Southern Stings, and she said, whoever thought that they should play 9 games of netball in 9 days, they must go play it themselves. And I was like, actually, yeah, no, you're right. You're so right. Because what do you mean that elite athletes have to be subjected to this? But then again, Commonwealth Games does the same thing. So I guess different levels, different strokes, I guess. But yeah, so much netball. As I told you last week on the pod, I went, I enjoyed the netball. I saw the empty stadiums during the week, but what else can we do? That's what we're gonna do. And then, you know, beautiful, beautiful netball. I just wish that more people would buy into netball because it's so beautiful to watch. It's so quick. Like, I was sitting next to some random person, and that's the thing I love about netball. You sit next to someone and you don't know them, but you're both supporting the same team, or you're supporting different teams, and then one of you says something and the other's like, but no, that's not right. And then you start a conversation and you have a friend. You have a friend to watch with. I think it was Rochelle Rousseau's mom, I think. And we just started becoming friends. So every time I'd sit next to her, whenever I would go, and she'd be there, and we were sharing sweets. It was actually very nice. And she was just like, who am I supporting? I was like, of course I'm supporting Southern Stings and Tornadoes. But obviously when my Fireballs are playing, I'm going to support Fireballs. But it was just so nice to have conversations and meet new people and get a friend. Of course, we didn't exchange numbers, but now I know her, she knows me. Shout out Rochelle's mom. Also, shout out to the parents who support their children. You know, that's so special. It heals a little part of me. Well done. So let me just say, top 4 has been actually secured, meaning we know who's going to be playing semifinals. And so, you know, Division 1, 24 points, we have the Craniums. Second place, we have Fireballs with 16 points. Third place, we have Southern Stings with 16 points. The only difference between those two is goal difference. But either way, it doesn't matter because they're going to play each other. And then in fourth place, with a mammoth task in front of them, is the Jaguars. Wow, shame. With 14 points. So it's not much of a difference, actually, between 2, 3, and 4. So very, very interesting. And then in Division 2, Tornadoes with, I think, 28. In first place. Second place, we have the Baobabs with 19 points. They have moved up in life. Because, I mean, what do you mean they are now? They were in 6th or 7th and now they're in 2nd. So well done to them. And then in third place, we have the Kingdom Queens. They dropped 1, but only because of Yinlento points difference. And then out of nowhere, Sonnebloma have come into the top 4. Well done to them. I think this is the first time they are in the top 4 since they came to being in 2023 or 2024. So congratulations to them. And for those who don't know, in the TNL, the finals are a bit different to the NSL and SSN, whereas with us, the top 4, number 1 plays number 4 and number 2 plays number 3 for Division 1. Okay, Division 2 is different. It's 1 versus 2nd and 3rd versus 4th. That's it for Division 2. So these are going to be our semi-finals, happening, I think, on Saturday, the 13th of June. I will be there. Exciting. You have the Craniums versus Jaguars. That's semi-final 1. And then semi-final 2, Fireballs versus Southern Stings for Division 1. And then Division 2, you have the Tornadoes that versus the Baobabs. And then your second semi-final for Division 2 is going to be the Kingdom Queens versus the Sonneblommer, which is very interesting. If I look at the results from Power Week 2 for these teams, it's like you already know Tornadoes is going to make it. But Baobabs did only lose by 1 point against the Tornadoes. So it could go either way. And I see what Baobabs is trying to do. But guys, how shattering would it be for the Tornadoes? You are on top for so long and then you lose this one semi-final. Finals is so bad. And then you no longer have the chance to play for relegation match. Guys, elite sports is so heartbreaking sometimes. Yeah. And then Queens versus Sonneblommer. So it's either Queens or Sonneblom who's going to be in that final. My money is on Queens because I just think that they're more structured and they're more up for it. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Also, Coach Precious, she took baby Proteas to play for 4th place. She's just amazing. So Queens. My prediction is that it's going to be for Division 2, it's going to be a Tornadoes versus Queens final, and Tornadoes is going to take it. But guys, a lot can happen between the 13th and the 14th. So let's see what happens. And Power Week 3, which is the finals week, is going to be from Friday the 12th of June to Monday the 15th of June. Okay. In South Africa, we have a public holiday on the 16th of June called Youth Day, where we celebrate the youth and the things that happened in the past on the 16th of June. But why are we having a final on a Monday? Netball South Africa, come to the front. Come, let's have a chat. Why are we having a final? The assumption is that people aren't going to work on Tuesday, but people are still working on Monday. So how are they going to make that final? I just think that we're not making it easier for ourselves. We really aren't, because instead of playing positional playoffs that are unnecessary, because you should be, if you are number 7, you're going to play for the relegation promotion match. Fine. 6, 5, why are we playing a playoff when we know the points say that Flames, Allos, and it's going to be like that at the end as well. Flames are going to beat the Allos. Why are we making these teams play another round of matches when the points have said, Wuti, this is what it is? I just find it so unnecessary. Again, costs that can be cut to put into netball in another way. Are we going to have another 5 days or 4 days of VIP again where people don't come? Okay, I'm getting very worked up. But I just think we make it so much harder for ourselves because we don't need to be having positional playoffs. The points will tell the difference and that's it. Don't make teams come to play one match. It doesn't make sense. Just have your finals and let the teams breathe and let them start again for next step. That's it. But this whole thing of positional playoffs is a waste of money and a waste of player and coach's time, because they still have to travel to Pretoria, the Rembrandt Hall, where I graduated twice. Dicks of Nicks. But it's just, Yazin, let's rethink it. We need to scrap it. We need to scrap it, and we need to scrap it now. These positional playoffs, and just focus on finals, because you will get more people coming to the games. No, my poor stars. They're going to be playing for the relegation match. So what happens in the Telkom Netball League again is that number 7 from Division 1 will go into promotion relegation match, but they don't play any game that weekend. They are just coming in to play the relegation promotion match. Whereas Division 2 has played a semi-final, a final, and now they must play the day after they play this final, they must play a relegation promotion match against the Division 1 side. Come on, guys, let's rethink this. Let's rethink this. Even in soccer, it's a week and then you play your relegation promotion match. So why are we different? Teams play 2 intense matches because they're trying to get into that final, semi-final, and then the final. The final is always intense, regardless if it's Division 1 or Division 2, because everyone wants to win. And now I'm going to go play a gassed up team who has not even played one match in this Power Week 3. Of course, chances of me being promoted are slim. That's what I thought. Then I asked ChatGPT, and ChatGPT said, I'm gonna read it. The narrative is that Division 2 winners are exhausted by the time they reach the promotion/relegation match. Yet numbers suggest otherwise. Division 2 champions have successfully earned a promotion on 75% of games in the last 4 seasons. So who has been in that relegation promotion match most of the time? The Kingdom Stars. So they know how to play these matches. They know how to win. Yes, they lost in 2024 against the Baobabs. And then last year they didn't lose. They won. But again, Aloes had the same thing for a few years. They were winning Division 2. And then Chigi, they got promoted when they played against the Kingdom Stars. So Kingdom Stars have always been in this back and forth. And I don't know why, because they have a good team. Maybe it's the connections in the team. I don't know, but they have a good team. So 75% chance Tornadoes. Well, assuming you get to the final and you win, getting into Division 1, where we'll have 2 Western Cape sides and 2 Gauteng sides. That would be exciting, don't you think, guys? Yeah, Kingdom Stars, why do we find ourselves in this position? Like, what is it that we're lacking? Okay, I've already said it. It's the mid-court. So stressed. If you didn't watch the matches, you missed out. And I'm so happy to see that Division 2 is getting more airtime. They got prime spots like 1 p.m., 3 p.m., and the 7 p.m. matches. Yes, they have more matches to play than Division 1, but I'm just glad that SuperSport was giving them a chance to shine, because we weren't seeing them in Division 1. In Power Week 1, we were only seeing Division 1 games. So I'm really, really happy that the scheduling aligned and that we got to see our girls on the TV and support them. Ironically though, now I'm at the actual game in the arena, so doesn't help me, but it helps everyone else. So that's what we want. Pushing forward. And it didn't disappoint. Division 2, the intensity lifted. The players were like, okay, Tornadoes, is that what you're doing? We're coming for you. And Tornadoes suffered a loss against Mpumalanga Sunbirds. I did say this in last week's podcast, but I think that if you look at that match and you see the intensity of which it was played with, Sunbirds were going for that win. And I don't think the Tornadoes knew that it was coming. But they recalibrated and they came back again. Yazin, guys, I'm so proud of the work that the coaches are doing in Division 2. The work that has lifted with the players, the intensity. There's been a lot of nail-biting matches. There's been a lot of draws. There weren't a lot of blowouts. And I enjoyed the intensity to which the teams came and attacked the Tornadoes with. And I think they rose to the occasion, the Tornadoes, but there were some moments where they didn't have answers. And that just shows that we are building, and this league is actually getting better and more competitive, which is what we want. And I also saw on Goal Third, I think, when was it? Sometime this week, the Telkom Netball League is the second most watched league by the people who follow over a third. SSN got 56%, NSL got 16%, TNL got 19%, and then ANZ got like 6%. So we are actually great, I think. We just need more eyes on us. And as Robin had said, it's very difficult for overseas people to watch. So yeah, we are working and we are building. Now we're going to go into some game analysis of the Power Week 2 that has passed, just to recap and see what happened there. Day 1, Flames versus Fireballs. Guys, it was like the Fireballs were taking revenge for losing in the first Power Week, and they thrashed the Flames 28-58 by 30 goals. That is the maths, right? Yeah. And I think Sunel Smith cannot carry this team. I did say that there are teams that are having coasters, and not to say that they don't deserve to be in the team, but they are not giving the effort that is needed for them to be changing and making a difference in the team. So that's just my only thing with Northwest Flames. And I think, guys, if you watch this game, it was like Mopenda was like, I'm back. You missed me. The tips and the deflections, and she got player of the match for this game. But it just shows you what a player does. It lifts the team. Guys, Sammy is back in the country. That means that domination is coming again for the Fireballs, and exciting times are ahead. Yo, so exciting. And there's not much to say here except that Flames had no answer to the defense of the Fireballs, and the attack end of the Flames had no punch that was needed to deliver the ball from the center third to their attackers, because you found that Usanel Smith was on GA and she was receiving the center pass, and there was no second base to pass to because the wing attack was very preoccupied with Jante Stratum. A hard watch for me personally, but I loved watching it. Going to the stadium watching it was so fun. It was beautiful. Loved it. Well done, Fireballs. Flames, we've got to work. Monday, we had the Stings versus Flames. Once again, Stings could have annihilated them even more. It's just the percentages of the shooting were not good. I think it was an 84% shooting from the Stings. And then the Flames was even worse. So Flames have got a lot to work on. I wonder how they're going to do in the Varsity Cup. They always do better in Varsity Cup than they do in TNL. So let's see. Yeah, it was a clinical performance from the Stings in attack and defense. Once again, no response from the Flames in terms of attack. Their defense is always defending, but defense doesn't win you championships and doesn't win you games, unfortunately, in netball, because you have to be able to sink those balls or get those balls to the shooting end. Monday, we had the Gauteng Derby, Fireballs versus Jaguars. Guys, I've never seen such low scoring quarters for the Jaguars. 7, 6, 5. It was really bad. And I think it was because they were still getting used to a new shooting combination, and shame. But they try their best. But I do think that Fireballs could have gotten more out of this game by attacking it even more clinically. There were a lot of mistakes that were happening in the attack end, and it just, I guess it was like the third day of competition, so they were still getting into the rhythm of playing games and playing in a team setting, maybe, but they could have destroyed the Jaguars even more. Tuesday, we had the Stings versus the Craniums. I don't know, the Craniums are just doing what they need to do, and they're doing it well, and there's not much for me to say about the Craniums except that every player knows what they have to do to get the job done. Everyone is playing exactly what they need to do. There's no confusion there. It's just a well-oiled machine that's just working, and I don't think anyone's going to beat it personally. Even with Sammy back, I don't think Carla's going to give it up that easy. I mean, she has played against the top GAs, Helen Houseby. So I just think we should just call it now and say thank you very much, but you can have your crown, Craniums. That was hard for me to say, but when a team is working in such beautiful synchronization, there's not much you can do. There's not much you can break them with. Then on the same day, you had the Aloes versus the Jaguars. A game that the Aloes could have won, considering they have Junita and Noli at the back, Marie, and she's doing really well. They're working very well together as a defensive duo, but they just don't have help to take the ball from the defense through the midcourt into the attacking end. And I don't know how to keep saying this, but the Aloes need to find themselves a wing attack. They need to find themselves a center who is committed to bringing the ball down and who is committed to learning where the shooter wants the ball. Obviously, if you give it to Zandre Smith wherever she is, she'll shoot, yes, but we want her to be as successful, but she always is successful, so but again, I think the Aloes would be looking at games like this for next year and thinking, how can we attack this and how can we win these games? Wednesday, we had the Stings versus the Stars. Kingdom Stars, really, honestly, beautiful clinical work, but again, conversion rates are very bad. Or actually, I think the Stings use the super shot better than the Kingdom Stars. I really think that the coach needs to trust Abby more in terms of letting her stick it out. I remember I was hearing on the commentary asking the coach why they keep taking her off, and then she explained they want to protect the player. But I also think she's one of your best shooters, and she's one of the most accurate shooters that you have. Keep her on there and let her ride it out and let her sort it out herself, should it be. Because that combination between her and Nomfundo has been growing and has been actually solidifying the more you keep them on court. And when you take her out and you put in base isn't going to take those shots. So a lot of pressure again on Nomfundo, who can do it, but she's just run out on goal attack for like at least 45 minutes. Now you're expecting her to be accurate and be the only shooter. I don't understand the strategy that the Kingdom Stars has, but it needs to be better for next season if they are in the Division 1, because you want to see Division 1 teams competing in games and not just, sitting back. And the poor defenders are turning ball, but we are struggling to get it from the center into the attack end. I don't know how to help them, because I don't know what the strategy is for them. But once again, you can't win a game with defense only. It's giving Giants. And this was a very physical game. Nicole Briet was on the floor a lot here. And Amber Corizon was also on the floor. But you know what? One thing you'll get with the Stars is physical play from the defenders. Thursday, Flames versus Jaguars. This broke my heart. I was at that stadium and I was like, yes, finally, Flames are winning. Then one mistake from an inexperienced player, and that's understandable. Pressure is the only thing you get to experience in real life. And I think they will learn from this, is that put Sanel in shooter and have Christy Marie Kutsia on goal attack, and Sanel will take those shots because she's used to this pressure, whereas the new goal shooter is very new to the setup. So you can't expect her to take on those pressure moments. A game that Jaguars could have lost very easily. I just don't know what's happening with the Jaguars, hey guys. You can't tell me it's 2 players that are missing. I don't know if with those players they would have won. I don't know. But it's just feeling very one-sided. It's feeling like Coach Roseanne has a plan and a strategy, but the players aren't buying into it as yet. And she's been the coach now for 4 years. And they do make it into finals. I think last year they made it into the semi-final. No, they didn't. The game of the week was Craniums versus Fireballs. Guys, this was the closest a team has ever gotten to the Craniums this week. So, well done to the Fireballs. But I think this is going to be the final anyway. So, let's see what changes, if anything changes. I just can't speak about the Craniums versus the Fireballs because, I just can't. It's just beautiful netball to watch. And I sit and I try to analyze the match, but then I end up watching it for enjoyment. So I'm sorry guys, that's all I have. And we're back. We have team of the week for Power Week 2. I'm just going to go through them. GK Cornelia Mupenda from Fireballs. She came back and she said, I'm here, and we've seen her. She's got 2 player of the match awards for her performance this week. GD Carla Pretorius, Free State Craniums, again, a queen. She deserves. There's nothing much I can say, but she deserves because she works so hard. And there's just such a determination in her eyes. Every time she speaks to a presenter or a commentator, she's just so poised, calm, collected. She's like, this is the plan, this is what we're going to do, and this is what we'll do. And I would follow her. I will follow her to wherever she wants us to go. We are going to go, Carla, to Commonwealth Games, please. It'd be such a great thing to have you there, Carla. Just think about it, please. Wing defense is Danielle van Nieuwenhuizen. I'll stick with her. And I just think she's been consistent. Y'all probably are saying, what about Wadunt? She's on my impact players bench. Jeez. Center, Tale Mate, consistent. She's just there. I love that girl. She's just there. And then we have wing attack, Carla Victor, again, consistent. She's just been quietly doing the work. She does throw a lot of ball away, but she makes up for it in getting it back again. That's what I love about Carla as a wing attack. She's a defensive wing attack because she is a center at heart. GA is Zandri Fourie with Nontigalelo on the bench as an impact player. GS, Bianca Lube, self-explanatory. Her shooting stats are probably in the high 90s. Amazing. And then my impact players, Amara Akbai, Aduns, Ntobela, as well as Nontigalelo Mazimugo. Let's have a conversation. I'll post it on my Instagram and let's see what you guys think. Welcome to suggest people, and we have the chat. I'm so open to it as long as we're talking about netball. And remember, player of the tournament is still up for grabs. So most of these players are just, you know, standing up at the right times. And team of the tournament is also up for grabs. So we'll have that conversation when finals are finished and see what happens. Quick, my prediction for finals are Craniums versus Fireballs, as I've said, and Tornadoes versus Sonneblom. Relegation match, I think the Kingdom Stars will win over the Tornadoes, unfortunately. I wish the Tornadoes would just like get automatic promotion because they're just so amazing. Why can't we have 8 teams in the Division 1? No, really, that's a good question. Why can't we have 8 teams? Netball SA, think about it. Then it would make more sense. Guys, why can't, maybe someone knows, why can't we have 8 teams in Division 1 like all the other leagues in the world? Well, okay, ANZ has 6, but that's just because they have 6 teams. But also then it makes it even. Then maybe we don't even have to play a promotion relegation match. Let me know what you guys think on the socials. Guys, it's been great. It's been good. Make sure you catch Power Week 3. The finals are in Pretoria at the Rembrandt Hall, which is at the UP Sports Ground. Make sure you catch it. It's from the 12th of June to the 15th of June. I will be there. I hope to see you guys there. And I hope you guys have an amazing week of netball. Also remember that the major final and the minor semi-final of the NSL is happening this weekend. Our players are playing in it. We have Shadeen for Lepra Lightning. We have Ane Retief, as well as Rolene Strucker, who are playing for Nottingham Forest. We also have Nicholas Smith, AO Manchester Thunder, and then we have Kamo Maseko, who is playing for London Pulse. So go watch them and support, and I'll see you guys next week. Until next week, keep passing, keep pivoting. All for netball, netball for all. This has been fun. Love you guys. Bye.